Hello Year 2, it's great to see you for our next maths lesson on division. Today we're going to be making equal groups by grouping. So please pause the video here and write the short date 27.1.21 and the learning objective, make equal groups by grouping. Well done. Okay, so let's have a look at our steps to success. So the first thing we need to do is identify the whole amount. Then identify how many objects are in each group. Then we're going to be thinking about how many equal groups are needed. So that's going to be a particular focus today whilst focusing on grouping rather than sharing. And lastly, write the division using the symbol correctly, which you can see on your screen in front of you. Okay, so let's have a look at our review phase of the lesson. It says complete the sentences below. So as you can see, there are some pictures and a sentence underneath to describe what you can see. So for example, number 1 says there are groups of apples. So I'd be thinking about recognizing how many groups there are. And I'm just going to draw a circle around them to really show you equal groups. So please pause the video here and have a go at saying the sentences aloud to describe what you can see. Well done, Year 2. Let's have a look together. We're going to say these sentences together, filling in the blanks. Are you ready? There are 3 groups of 3 apples. Well done. There are 4 groups of 2 flowers. Brilliant. Let's have a look at the last one. There are 3 groups of 5 sweets. Well done, Year 2. Super start to maths today. Okay, so we have our first explore question. There's a sentence describing the picture at the top. 15 pairs are divided into groups of 5. There are 3 groups. So I wonder what each number in this sentence, these sentences, describes. Please pause the video here and use the sentence starters to help you. So 15 tells us, 5 tells us, 3 tells us. Well done, Year 2. So let's have a look together. So 15 tells us how many in total. That's the whole amount of pairs. 5 tells us how many are in each group. As you can see, there are 5 pairs inside each group. And 3 tells us how many groups there are. So as we can see, there are 3 bags and there are 3 groups. So I wonder what the division would be, Year 2. Pause the video here and share your ideas. Well done. So we would write this as 15 divided by 5 equals 3. Brilliant. Should we say it together? 15 divided by 5 equals 3. Well done. Okay, in our next explore question, you can see we've got another division, but this time we haven't got a picture there to help us. I wonder if you could pause the video here and discuss what does each number in this division represent? And what could the real world math story be? So for example, in the last question, we were thinking about dividing pairs. I wonder if you can think of a math story to describe this division. Well done, Year 2. So let's review our learning together. So 10 tells us how many in total. 5 tells us how many in each group. And 2 tells us how many groups. So the math story I was thinking of is there are 10 children are divided into groups of 5, as you can see here. There are groups of 5, there's 5 children inside each group. And there are 2 groups. As if we look back at our sentences in green, which describe what each number tells us, as you can see, 2 tells us how many groups. Brilliant, well done, Year 2. Okay, so we have another explore question. So our friend here has 12 oranges, and they'd like to put 2 in each basket. So 12 divided into groups of 2. So as you can see, we've got our 12 oranges here. So we need to draw groups of 2, and we can draw them in a similar way to when we use an array. It might help with presentation. So as you can see here, I've started us off. So we've got 1 group of 2, 2 groups of 2. So I'm going to count in my 2s just to check the amount that I've got so far, as I've given you a helping hand here and started off. So 2, 4. Only started to group 4 oranges, but there are 12 oranges that need dividing into groups of 2. So I wonder if you can pause the video here and carry on by drawing groups of 2 to find out how many groups there are. Well done, Year 2. Okay, so on your boards now, you can see my workings out. So as you can see, we have, should we count together to count the groups? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 groups of 2. Because that means that there are 12 oranges altogether. Should we check by counting in our 2s? 2, 4, 6, 8, 10, 12. Brilliant, Year 2. Well done. So I wonder, what is the division? Remember, we have the dividend divided by the divisor equals the quotient. And as you can see here, those words are at the bottom of your screen to remind you. So what is the dividend? What is the divisor? And what is the quotient? Well done, Year 2. So we would write this as 12 divided by 2 equals 6. Should we say it together? 12 divided by 2 equals 6. Brilliant. As we can see that there are 2 oranges inside each group, and there are 6 groups. Brilliant. Well done. Okay, on your screen now, you can see the step 1 questions to solve in your book. So please pause the video here and solve 1A, 1B and 1C. So remember, today we are drawing groups, very similar to how we draw an array, rather than sharing the objects out. Well done, Year 2. Okay, so let's have a look at exploring step 2 together. So on your board, it says 50 divided by 10 equals and there's a sentence underneath to help us with our thinking. 50 is made up of groups of 10. So we're thinking about how many lots of 10 are in 50, so we can use our multiplication to help us. Please pause the video here and discuss your thinking around this first question. Well done. Shall we check together? So we're going to count how many groups of 10 are in 50 by counting in our multiples of 10. Are you ready? 10, 20, 30, 40, 50. So how many groups of 10 are in 50? Well done. 50 is made up of 5 groups of 10. So this means 50 divided by 10 equals 5. Brilliant. Well done, Year 2. I wonder if you can pause the video here and have a go at the next question before we review it together. Well done. So we're thinking about how many groups of 2 make 50. Of course, when we're dividing by 2, we're also halving. So thinking about finding half of 50. What's half of 50? I know half of 40 is 20. And I need to find half of 10 more, and that would be 5. So we know that 50 is made up of 25 groups of 2. You might have also counted in your groups of 2. So let's say this division together. 50 divided by 2 equals 52. So as you can see here from this explore question, there are different ways of making 50. So there's different equal groups that we could have. Please pause the video here to complete step 2 in your book. As you can see, these questions are very similar to what we've just done together, and the number lines represent counting in multiples like we've just had a go at together. Well done, Year 2, doing so well today. I'm really proud of you. Okay, so for our next Explore question, we've got a word problem. Mr. Smith buys a box of 45 colouring pencils. Each group needs 5 pencils. How many groups can have pencils? So as you can see here, there are some STEM sentences to help us think about this question. So there are pencils all together. So first of all, we need to find the whole amount. And I can retrieve that information from identifying the key information in the word problem. So there are 45 colouring pencils. Okay, so there's 45 colouring pencils altogether. Each group needs pencils. Let's have a look here too. Each group needs 5 pencils. How many groups have pencils? So what do you think the division is so far, given what you already know from reading that word problem? Brilliant. 45 divided by 5. Well done. So what are you going to be drawing groups of if each group needs 5 pencils? Well done. You're going to be drawing 5 counters inside each group to represent each group having 5 pencils. So please pause the video here and explore this question by having a go by yourself to find out what's 45 divided by 5. Well done, Year 2, super effort. So I'm going to share my thinking with you now. So as you can see here, I have drawn groups of 5 because these 5 dots here represent the 5 pencils inside each group. As it says, each group needs 5 pencils. So we were finding out how many groups can have pencils. Shall we count the amount of groups together? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. Brilliant. So 9 groups can have pencils. Fantastic. So shall we read the STEM sentences together now? There are 45 pencils altogether. Each group needs 5 pencils. 9 groups can have pencils. So the division would be 45 divided by 5 equals 9. Well done, Year 2. Okay, on your board now, you can see the step 3 questions to solve in your book. On 3B in particular, you really need to explain your reasoning, and there's a STEM sentence there to help you. So I think Ron is Did you think Ron is correct or incorrect? Because, and I've written a little note here to prove it. So you might want to draw groups to prove your thinking. It'd be great to see you really stretching yourself with your mathematical reasoning here. Have fun, Year 2. Well done, Year 2. I'm really proud of you today for practicing the skill of making equal groups by grouping. As you can see on the board now, there are the answers that you can review your learning. Well done, Year 2. I'm super proud of you.